My name is Maria Juarez, and you're listening to In This Casa. Bienvenidos. In this podcast, I aim to memorialize and honor my husband David's memory by exploring conversations about life and what it's like in my casa, and hopefully in other casas as well. Welcome back to In This Casa, and thank you for joining me. In this episode, it's Monday, January 29th, and I have just arrived back from 2 weekends of travel. It's been a pretty eventful January. Let's see, I'm looking at my planner here so I can go through the dates with you because so much has happened. The first of the year was on Monday, and then my girls and I got tattoos to honor my husband David on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I had to prep for us to drive Sarah back to school. On Thursday, we headed out, which was the 4th. We were gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We flew back on Monday, the 8th. I had a week that was kind of trying to get myself back in order and on schedule. It was a rough week, though, because I think I was already struggling. I think I've already talked about this in a previous episode about how after the holidays and after New Year's, I just kind of crashed emotionally. And so it was a rough week, and I was trying to get back into the swing of things, get back into a work schedule. And then Sada and I got some really great news. So last fall, during her fall quarter, we had to do the financial aid for her school and figure out how to pay the balance of her school on our own. And so we did. Thank God we did. We were able to. But one of the things that she and I discussed, which she and I and her dad had already discussed her first year, was that her first year in college, David and I were going to cover any of the additional costs for her tuition and her housing beyond what she was awarded. But what we had an expectation that she was going to apply for a resident advisor position, an RA position. And so she did apply in the spring of her freshman year, and she was waitlisted, which was unfortunate for us because we would have liked the assistance in the fall, but also we were very proud of her for doing it. And we were proud of her for at least getting waitlisted. She wasn't just declined. So she'd been waitlisted. So going into the fall, we had lost her dad. We were, doing her awards acceptances and seeing what the final balance for her fall quarter tuition and housing was going to be. And I, told her I would figure it out because Daddy and I had, made arrangements and plans for this kind of situation, being able to handle college costs. But that I also, needed her to advocate for herself. So she emailed her financial aid advisor, financial aid officer, who's assigned to her. And then we had a phone call, the three of us. And we talked to her financial aid officer, and we just pushed hard for needing additional help considering our circumstances. And it was a little bit rough. I don't know if that's kind of standard of what happens in those kinds of conversations, or if it's specifically because she's an out-of-state kid, or if it's CalPoly specific, but it was a little kind of like at first a blunt conversation where it was like, cut off, like, this is what she's awarded, this is her financial aid. That's it. Like, the rest is on you guys. And I was like, no, we need more help. So, like, she's not going to not continue school just because we have a financial need. Like, you have to figure out how to help us out. So long story short, considering our family circumstances, we were able to get Sarah designated as a independent student, which changed her financial aid structure, which was helpful for us in regards to tuition. Not extremely helpful, but a little bit more helpful, which was great. So I went ahead and handled the balance for her fall quarter. And then I thought, we'll worry about winter quarter when we get there. That's a January problem. So after she was all set for starting her fall quarter, she was in California. This is still the fall of last year. I started encouraging her or not encouraging her, that's being politically correct. I told her, Sara, you need to start advocating with the resident housing people. They've got you on the wait list. You need to send them a letter or an email or go talk to them and let them know, what we're facing in our family, that this creates a risk in regards to you continuing school there based on what we can contribute to pay for your tuition and your housing. And we need to advocate that they put you higher on the wait list, that you really, really, if a position opens up, you really, not only do you really want it, but you really need it. So she did. She sent the email and she started the conversation. She was a little reluctant at first, but she's a 19-year-old kid and these are the first times that she's having to do things like that. But she did it. And I think it really helped her confidence to learn how to communicate and advocate for herself and not feel hesitant or embarrassed to send emails to people that she's not familiar with, to start having conversations. And, it's good practice for life. So she did it and she started having conversations. She went to wherever these particular housing staff office, she went and talked to them in person and she advocated for herself. So going into the winter quarter, into January, she was still on the wait list. She did not have an RA position. And we, went over her student account and I saw what the balance was in regards to her tuition and housing for winter and spring. And, after her awards and her financial aid, and I took care of it. And it was a large amount, but, I have faith in God. And I know my husband is up there or over there or in heaven and wherever he is here on earth in that other dimension, he's advocating for me and my girls, for his 3 girls. So I'm just having faith. So I took care of the amount and moved my girl in. So that week of January 8th was a rough week. And I want to say that Sara had so because she was on the wait list for a resident advisor position, she had to reapply for next year again. So if you don't already have an RA position, apparently you have to reapply every single year, even if you're already on the wait list. So she had already had a interview scheduled for the RA position for going into next year on Thursday, the 11th. And I remember that distinctly because it's on her sister's birthday. So she was going to get to school. We left her there. She was going to start classes. And a couple days later, she had this interview. And we were praying about it and talking to God about it, talking to David about it, talking to the universe about it, talking to ourselves about it. She was working hard on manifesting it. And on Wednesday, the 10th, the night before her interview, she sent me a message. I believe it was a screenshot of an email that she got. And she had just been emailed by the housing department because there was an opening for a resident advisor position and they were offering it to her. So she got it. And I think I cried when I saw the email, the text message, and she accepted the position, obviously fast. And I was proud of her. I was excited for her. I was proud of what she'd accomplished, that she got the position, which she was really working hard to get because she knew the implications financially to be able to help us so that she can finish her college career at CalPoly. And I was thankful to God for giving her that blessing. We were so excited about it. And so I started to be like, okay, as soon as you know when you're going to be moving in, let me know. Because my first thought for my girl was, I know my kid, and she is a little powerhouse. She will, get things done, and she is extremely capable. But she doesn't like change. And so my first thought was, okay, I have to get there and help her move to wherever dorm she's going to be an RA in, because if she has to do it by herself and it's really difficult and it's not something that she can easily manage under the stress of a quick change, then it's going to start off the whole experience on the wrong foot. And I did not need that. I needed this RA experience for her to be awesome and be a great experience and start off on a great foot, because It's something that I need her to continue through the rest of her college career. So I was like, okay, as soon as you know when you're moving in, let me know. I will fly in to come help you move. So sometime between the 9th and the 18th, we did find out that she was going to be moving in Friday the 19th. So I booked my flight and we made plans, and I went back to San Luis Obispo on the 19th. So not even a full 2 weeks later, I was headed back to SLO. So I headed back to SLO. We moved my girl in. She and I took a quick overnight trip down to LA on Saturday, came back to SLO on Sunday, and then I flew out on Monday. And I flew out on Monday because SLO just has like a little regional airport and they don't have a lot of flights that come in and out. Only American Airlines flies in directly, and there's just not a lot of flight options. So I flew out on Monday morning. So I came home. It was a successful trip. We got her moved in. It was a good experience for the most part because, parents and kids and organization and things, there's always a tense moment, but it was great overall. We had a good trip, the two of us, and I got my girl moved in. I felt comfortable. She felt comfortable, and I came home. So that was Monday the 22nd. I came home. Well, I had already planned, I don't even remember when we booked this, maybe in December, but my sister, Amanda, her and her oldest son, Cross, were going to go to New York in January for a college audition. He was going to be auditioning for Juilliard and another school. And, actually, I think I might have invited myself when she told me they were going. I might have just been like, I'm going with y'all. I don't even know if she invited me. I might have just said, I'm going. So anyway, at some point we booked the flights. And so that trip was scheduled for us to leave to New York on Thursday, the 25th, which we did. So we were gone the 25th. He had his auditions were on Friday and Saturday, I believe. Juilliard was on Friday. I can't remember the name of the other school, but that was on Saturday. And then we came home super, super early on Sunday. And then here we are on Monday the 29th. That was a really great trip. I'm kind of glad that I invited myself because I got to take some really good candid photos of the two of them there going through that experience as a mother and son. And, I just don't know that, I know it was a very nerve-wracking time for my sister. And my nephew was very composed, but he was very focused. And I'm just happy that I was able to take those couple of shots and have those memories to hold for the two of them. So it was a great trip. We got there on Thursday. Thursday night we had dinner with my sister's best friend who lives up in New York with his husband. His husband wasn't able to join us, but the four of us had a really lovely dinner. And then Friday morning was Cross's Juilliard audition. We were at Juilliard most of the day, which was a really cool experience. And I'm so extremely proud of my nephew for even having the opportunity to be invited to audition for Juilliard. I mean, that's just amazing. He's incredibly talented and we're very, very proud of him. And he didn't get a call back into Juilliard, so you find out that day right away whether or not they're going to continue the process of having you audition for a spot. But, Amanda and I were sitting there. I think we dropped him off super early in the morning. She and I went to a coffee shop to get some work done, get some coffee. And then we went back to Juilliard because we weren't sure, about what time they were going to do callbacks. And we were sitting, when you walk into the main, I guess, theater area, I don't know if that's the main school area or the main theater area, but when you walk into the area that we were waiting for him, there's like all of these like steps where they're kind of like desk steps where people can like sit and study or, whatever. And so we were sitting there, we were still working, we were waiting on him, and there were other parents there. And it was just a really, really cool experience to be doing that with him. But what I was going to say was that when people were checking into audition, it was clear that it's not just like incoming freshmen that are auditioning. It's all kinds of ages of people. And so, it's a very, very competitive school. And so he didn't get the call back, but that's okay because even just being able to audition in the first place is what an achievement. So that was on Friday. And then that night, I was really struggling emotionally with my husband being gone. I had been traveling. So far, this was the third weekend in 4 weekends that I'd been traveling. And, it was just a lot of travel without my husband, and I was really missing him. And I think about him all day, every day, but I really couldn't get him off my mind. And I was thinking about what we were doing in New York and how he would be there with us and so excited about it, and how he would just be cheerleading Cross and he'd be so proud of Cross. And I just, I was struggling. So Mandy and Cross went to dinner and went to go see a play that Cross had wanted to go see. And they did invite me, but I just was like, no, I'm not up for it. And so I stayed in the room and rested. And my sister and my nephew went. And I'm also glad that they went, just the two of them. I think it was just good mom and son time. So the next morning, was it the next morning? Yeah, I think on Saturday he had the next audition. I can't even remember what we did on that day, honestly. My brain is just I feel like I'm so scatterbrained these days. I'm sure it's trauma and stress caused, but I don't know. I don't even know. Anyway, we came back yesterday on Sunday the 28th. And it was a good trip. And I'm happy to be home. And I'm happy that the month has gone as well as it's gone for the young people in our family. In October, when my mom and Janie and I went to go see Sarah at SLO on Halloween weekend, Sarah wanted to go see this psychic that's in Pismo Beach. So we scheduled an appointment ahead of time so that, because we've gone several times when I've been in and out. I've been in and out of California with Sarah so many times now, even just without my husband. And we'd gone on several occasions and tried to see the psychic, and no one ever answers the door. And Sarah went to go see her in April. But anyway, I was like, you know what, make an appointment, because every time we go to Pismo and we go try to, knock on the door during business hours, no one ever answers. So she made an appointment and the four of us went. And I'm just thinking that, I don't remember everything that she said, because the four of us went. It was just the four of us in her kind of like room. And she started with me. I went first because everybody was when she said, okay, who's going first? Everybody kind of stayed quiet. So I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went first. And one of the things that she said to me was that I was going to be traveling a lot this year. And I thought, well, this is not a valid reading, and this lady doesn't know anything, because I'm not going to be traveling without my husband. Like, that's just not my personality or the kind of person I am. Like, I'm a very, very loyal person, and my husband is the love of my life. And even without him, not Earthside, I feel so guilty about living life without him. So it's something that I'm working on and talking to my therapist about. But yeah, so when she said that to me, I thought, no, there's no way I'm not going to be traveling without my husband. That's not a thing. But, just in January alone, I'm looking at my calendar, and out of the 31 days in January, I traveled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Almost half of the month I was traveling. So maybe she was right. Anyway, February should be a slower month. There is a lot going on, and I'll fill you in on that in a future episode. But like I was trying to the week after we came back from SLO, from taking Sarah to school initially this year for her winter quarter, I am just trying to get back on schedule and trying to accept my new reality and get to the point where I am on some sort of regular cadence with work, with the two businesses, and trying to lock in my schedule. I have a lot here that I need to do in the house. I need to clean out David's garage. There's a lot I need to do in our home. I'm struggling with our home right now, and that's something I'll talk about in a future episode. I've already got it scheduled, so I'm just working on it, and we'll see where things go, and I'll keep you guys updated. And in the meantime, I'm just still focusing on my girls and my work and my businesses and our home and my husband. And we have a new baby coming on the way, which is exciting. So I'll keep you updated. But until then, you can join me here next Saturday, and we can continue to talk about what it's like in my casa. And if you're interested in talking about what it's like in your casa with me, send me an email. I'll talk to you soon.